place to out-juke them here. Think, Scalar. Think. You gotta think fast, and you gotta think real fast.
Hello?
They can climb up that. That's not fair. Whoa. Hold up there, Chief. I think we're starting towards the end of the story here. I think we need to rewind a little bit and go back to the proper beginning. So how about, yep, just like that. Let's rewind the footage a bit, keep going back, go back a little bit. It's a fair amount to go through, so we gotta get back to the beginning. So keep on going and going. Whoa, hold up. I think you went a little bit too far. That's not quite what I meant as the beginning. Let's fast forward just a little bit to the proper beginning of this story. All right, there we go. I think we're about there. One more second. Okay, stop. Perfect. Right there. Okay, well, hello everyone. Professor Scalar here, and welcome to a challenge video that I greatly regret ever doing. So, we're taking a little bit of a break from the typical Play-Doh Experiment 2 level completion videos. I know we're close to the end. We've only got 5 more missions to do after the one I just released, but I want to take a short break to show you this challenge run of a video that we did a little bit ago. So, if you recall, a while back, Lurker, Dino, and I did a mission, specifically Act 3-5, Infestation, which was the mission that had nothing but scouts in it, and it took us a fair amount of attempts to actually complete it. Now, throughout these runs, at one point, I jokingly made a suggestion saying that playing with the mini-mod might actually make this level easier because you could duck underneath the scout tendrils as you're going to be a lot tinier, but the enemies remain the same. And at the moment, I thought I was having a big brain idea, but apparently everybody else disagreed with me, because Lurker and Dino both immediately ridiculed me, telling me that that was an insane idea and I was stupid for ever thinking that was going to work. And later on, other people, including the mod creator himself, also told me that was such a weird idea. And I didn't want my fragile ego to be broken even more than it has the past few years, so I decided that I was actually going to prove everybody wrong by going back at some point and playing this mission again all by myself with the mini mode mod, and I was going to beat it. Little did I realize it was actually going to be a lot harder than I thought it was going to be, and it was going to take me a little over 10 hours straight of playing this mission to finally beat it. So that's what today's video is going to be, kind of just a narrative little experience, me walking you through the journey of me spending 10 hours trying to beat this mission. Now, before we actually jump into the attempts themselves, I want to just quickly go over the loadout, because of course I knew this wasn't going to be a cakewalk, so I had to go in with a proper loadout to ensure the highest chance of success. So starting off, my primary gun, I brought in with me the Soul Nuker. The reason for this is it was pretty much my contingency plan in case I had a room with a bunch of scouts in it and I needed to just blow up pretty much all of them all at once to avoid any of them waking up. And there's also a specific enemy that can sometimes spawn once, even twice in this level, and there's only 2 guns in the game that can actually kill him without him waking up. As for my secondary, I brought the Pulse Sniper, as this is a silent weapon, so I'm able to actually shoot and kill a few scouts throughout the mission with it without waking up anything else nearby. For my tool, of course, I'm bringing in with me a bio tracker, as I need to be able to tag all these scouts. The Sleeper Buster is going to be my melee weapon, because I can't just rely on Lurker or Dino to kill all the things like hybrid scouts or giant scouts in this mission, and the best melee weapon to actually deal with them would be the Sleeper Buster, as this thing can do upwards of 85 damage with a single hit, and that's not even including damage multipliers on the enemies. And then last but not least, for my class, I brought in the Trailblazer, because the main flaw of mini mode is that you are much smaller, which means you run a lot slower and you cannot jump nearly as high. So I wanted to bring a class that would kind of balance out those weaknesses. And the nice thing about Trailblazer is not only do I start off with a double jump, which gives me a fair amount of mobility, but I also run a little bit faster. And every level up I get, I run even faster, which would help counteract the fact that I am so tiny and slow in the first place. So with my loadout figured out and a general game plan of how I wanted to go throughout the mission, I went into it with a fair amount of confidence for my very first attempt. Now the thing is too, there's no ammo in this mission, which means this one Soul Nuker shot is all I get. I only get 1 chance to clear out a room, and I only get an okay amount of pulse rifle or pulse sniper shots, but... We're gonna pretend that run never happened. I wish I could save face by saying I did that on purpose for comedic value for the video, but unfortunately for my pride, no, that was a genuine screw up on the very first scout on my very first attempt of this challenge. See, the thing is, I pretty much never used the Sleeper Buster in my runs through Fatal Experiment 2, so I didn't realize how long it took for this melee weapon to charge up, as well as how it doesn't just immediately hit the enemy kind of like Knife does. The other thing too that I wouldn't learn for quite a while despite my screw up here is that my player hitbox is ever so slightly bigger than I initially thought it was. And this would cause me to have multiple moments where I would just barely clip a scout with my body or a scout tendril, which would cause it to alert and just bring my run to an end. But aside from the initial flub here, getting through the first zone really wasn't all that challenging. The only type of scouts in this area would be baby scouts, which have so little HP that, as I would learn later on, just simply tapping them anywhere on the body with a Sleeper Buster hit is enough to kill them. And they give a pretty fair amount of XP, which was quite nice as it would usually give me an initial level up, which would give me a little bit more speed. But going through the zone, my strategy was the same for pretty much every other zone in the mission. Make my way to the room with the terminal in it, that way I could ping the exact location of the keycard I would need to move on to the next zone. And if I happen to get lucky and find the box or locker, as the only things I could spawn in this level are the keycards, so every single box and locker is guaranteed to be it, then I could just get the keycard and skip the terminal, instead just go straight to the security door itself. So after just a few quick little runs, I made my way through the zone and found my way into the next area. Now, the second zone unfortunately was nowhere near as simple as the first zone. Even though I got here within a few attempts and I actually managed to get my way through this zone on my very first run getting here, every run afterwards had a high probability of me dying in this zone. And it was almost purely because of just one type of enemy, that being the Hybrid Scout. These things were the bane of my existence, and it's purely because of how much HP they have. 150 HP for a scout is a lot, but the thing is, it wasn't actually nearly as difficult as I thought it was. The Sleeper Buster, as I said, does 85 damage with a fully charged hit, and every single enemy in the game has a 2x damage multiplier if you hit them from behind, which 85 times 2 is definitely more than 150. But that very simple math just did not register in my head for quite a while. I don't know what it is, but I kept thinking I had to do mostly charged hits to the head in order to kill them, and that is where my problem lied. See, Hybrid Scouts, whenever they extend their tendrils, have a very high probability of putting their hands on their head, which pretty much shields them from you actually smacking them in the noggin. So a lot of my failed runs ended because I would do a charged hit to their head and I would miss and hit the hands instead, which would not do nearly enough damage. And the Hybrid Scouts actually weren't the only thing that plagued me in this area. There was also something else that caused me to have a little bit of trouble as I tried to make my way through. You're presenting me your backside. Nice, okay. What the? What? 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 What is going on here? What? What? Are you kidding me? I'm just... Why am I falling through the world? What did I do to deserve this? What did I do to deserve this? Can I fix this if I jump forward? Like, is there an angle I can jump at to... Oh my god, thank you. What? No! There it is. Okay, found it. No! Oh my god. Okay, hold up. Wait, can I salvage this? Can I fix this? Oh, okay. Never had that happen before, but I guess just randomly in this area, there's just certain places where small me just phases through the world. Yeah, I don't know why this was happening. I think it's just something to do with me being tiny and therefore my hitbox is a little bit different. So I was actually able to kind of clip myself through the floor. But I had a couple of runs where I would forget this detail. And while I'm trying to go after a scout, I would jump in this area and then fall through, which would just lead to a very unfortunate fail. But as I said, I was able to make it through the zone on my very first try going in here, and eventually I did get a bit more consistent. So eventually I was able to start making my way to the third zone consistently. Unlike the second zone, the third zone was actually a lot easier for me to deal with. In here, the only types of scouts I had to deal with were burst shooters, surge shooters, and veil scouts, which all three of them have very little HP. So just simply hitting them in the head or doing about a half charge with a sleeper buster was more than enough to kill them. It was a little bit annoying though, because despite the scouts being fairly easy to deal with, this is actually a zone where I really start to learn that my hitbox was a bit wonky.
Oh my dude, you just got pranked! Bet you didn't see that one coming, huh?
What? Okay. So my hitbox is definitely slightly bigger than I thought it was. Well, that sucks. That is truly unfortunate. Okay, that introduces a new complication. Because that tells me that just because I'm hidden behind the wall, there's a little bit of extra range to my hitbox. Oh, God. Yeah, really unfortunate in multiple of those cases where a scout tendril would just either clip my head despite me hiding behind a wall, or it would actually touch my feet through the grating, and I wouldn't notice it in time in order to actually shoot and kill the scout before it alerted. But thankfully, this didn't get me killed too many times. I think I only had 3, maybe 4 failed runs in this zone for reasons like this. So for the most part, I would just make my way through. The terminal was in a pretty nice spot in the back area, so just make my way to it, get the key card, and then I could start making my way over to the 4th zone. And similar to the 3rd zone, the 4th zone actually wasn't all that bad either. This zone mainly consisted of baby scouts, shooter scouts, elite shooter scouts, sniper shooter scouts, and tendril burst scouts, which half of those were fairly easy to deal with, but the others not quite as much. Tendril burst scouts and elite shooter scouts were by far the biggest threats for me to deal with. The elite shooters more so just because they had a pretty fair amount of HP, I believe it being 75, so I did need to do a fairly charged hit to the back or at least hit them in the head in order to kill them. And the tendril burst scouts, whenever they extend their feelers, they go far and very fast. Thankfully though, there was a fair amount of cover in this zone I could utilize to make sure that they didn't touch me with their noodles, and it wasn't too hard to actually deal with them once I got a bit closer. And the nice thing about this zone too is that the terminal was along the beaten path, so it was always easy for me to figure out where the keycard was and make my way to the back end. I did have to be a little bit careful as the scout density did get a little bit bigger in this zone, so I had a fair amount more I had to kill, but in my eyes that was just fairly easy XP, which would give me even more movement speed, making it easier to actually run up and kill the scouts or at least run away from the tendrils. But I believe on the very first attempt I got to this zone as well, I was actually able to make my way to the back end of it and get to the security door to the 5th zone. The 5th zone, though, marks the point where things no longer remain simple and easy for me in this mission. In this zone, there were only a few different types of scouts, specifically babies, normals, tendril burst, and paranoid scouts, which on their own aren't really all that challenging to deal with, but this zone was a bit of a nightmare because the scout density just absolutely skyrocketed. You can see in the background footage, even though this is a very big open room, there are so many scouts in here that I actually had to be very careful. I didn't want to just sneak my way through, as the next room I had to go to for the security door also had a lot of scouts in it, and it would sometimes take me a bit to actually clear my way through there safely, so I wanted to ideally kill most, if not every single one of the scouts in the first room. So I spent a lot of time in this zone just playing slow and steady, trying to deal with the isolated scouts in the first area, so I could then actually get to the second room where the terminal was and use it to ping where the key card was. And I pray to God it wasn't in the third room, because as you can see here, that third room is not pleasant to deal with. And if you're wondering, why didn't I just simply shoot the scouts with my silent sniper that could actually fairly easily deal with them? A simple answer to that is just because I didn't know exactly how efficient it was. See, despite being a silent weapon, if enemies are too close to me, they will still wake up, and if enemies are too close to the thing I shot and killed, they also would wake up, and I did not know the precise range of it, and since I was about the halfway point of the mission, that part of my brain kind of kicked in where I was paranoid, and I didn't want to lose a run to test out something simple like this. So I actually had so many runs where I more likely could just shot 4 or 5 or even 6 different scouts in a row and killed them all safely with that sniper, but I chose not to because I wasn't certain if I could actually get away with it. And the other thing too is, unlike some of the previous zones, I did not make my way through here successfully on the first time arriving. I actually had a very unfortunate mishap that caused my first run here to come to an end. Oh, well, this is awkward. No! I knew it! I was gonna call it! I was gonna say, I don't want to go for the scout right here because I guarantee I'm gonna hit the padlock and not the scout. I tried to angle to the left. No! I knew that was gonna happen too. Oh my god, that's so unfortunate. Also, I kind of just want to get up ahead because I want to see what else
Hello
is in
there.
here. Yeah, it's this room. Okay, it's just more tendrils and whatnot.
Oh,
Can I even get this door open before? No, I can't. They're already in. Okay, well, let's just... Oh, that was a good run. That was a really good run. But, gosh darn it. I tried to swing left so that I wouldn't hit that smash lock. But I still hit it anyway. Yeah, I should not have gone for that scout kill with a smash lock right next to me because the swing starts somewhere behind the back of my head, I believe, which is exactly where that padlock was, and it's a fairly big hitbox, so, well, me not thinking that through fully caused me to smash the lock and wake up the scout right next to me, and that run came to an end. Thankfully though, despite me playing very slow and cautiously here and wasting a lot of my time, I actually didn't have too many failed runs in this zone because of how cautious I was. So upon getting back here in just a few more attempts, I was actually able to make my way through it and get into the back area where the next security door was and make my way on into the 6th zone. As for that 6th zone, this is where things started to get quite a bit more complicated. Thankfully, the scout density did go down a little bit compared to the previous zone, but the scouts in here were even more problematic. I still had baby scouts and paranoid scouts, which could be a little bit annoying to deal with when they were near other scouts, but more importantly, there were also giant scouts as well as an immortal scout in this zone. Giant scouts don't have quite as much HP as hybrids, they only have 100 as opposed to 150, but even then, they were a bit challenging to deal with as I would have to do a fully charged hit to the back of them in order to actually do enough damage to kill. Thankfully though, being tiny actually did come into play quite a bit because as long as I got close to them, there was a pretty good probability that I would be completely safe and able to actually rotate around them while their tendrils are extended because they wouldn't go low enough to touch me. So as long as I didn't get too close to the giant itself and bump into it, I could cancel a fully charged hit, then actually charge up a new hit, rotate behind it, and kill it before it walked away. That immortal scout though, that was the real big problem of this zone. Thankfully, I had a few runs where he did not spawn at all, or at least he spawned in a room I would not go into, so I could completely avoid it, but there were a few runs where something unfortunate like this would occur. Please, 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 please.
Oh!
Nope, alright, I lose. GG. I didn't need to panic. I didn't need to panic there like that. I thought I could jump over the tendril, but no, I shouldn't have tried. I shouldn't have tried to jump over it like that. Okay, well, what I want to see now is, can I kill you with a soul nuker shot? Yes, okay. So if need be, I could blow you up to a soul nuker, or with a soul nuker hit. Well, now we hide as a small boy.
A few inches later.
Well, let's just hide in a little corner and see if they can hit me here.
Here's Johnny!
Yes, the answer is a very resounding yes. Yeah, immortal scouts are an absolute pain to deal with. They extend their tendrils quickly, they don't keep them out all that long, they run around like crazy, so their timing is a bit different with everything else. So in moments like that, where I'm pretty much locked into an area because of other scout tendrils, if the immortal scout decides to walk near me, I'm kind of screwed. And sure, I do have a gun that can actually kill it, but that problem in my brain thinking I only have one shot of it and there's another chance for an immortal scout to spawn in the next zone I have to go into led me to never wanting to actually shoot and kill this guy unless if I absolutely had to. So I had a fair amount of failed runs in this area due to the paranoid scouts and the giant scouts, and even a couple of them because of the immortal scout. But eventually I did start getting a groove down for this place and a bit of a system. I learned that there was actually a few spots I could hide in as a mini person to completely avoid the scouts, which actually made killing some of them a bit easier to deal with. So eventually, bit by bit, I got more used to it, and I was able to somewhat consistently make my way to the next security door to get to the 7th and final challenging zone I would have to go through. The 7th and technically final zone. If I can make my way through here and get the key card, I was basically home free. Thankfully, the security door to the extraction point was actually in the previous zone, so I wouldn't even have to make my way all the way to the end of this one, and the extraction zone itself was a tiny room with just a few regular strikers and shooters, no scouts at all, and the extraction scan finished extremely quickly. This took me about 21 attempts to finally make it here. And unfortunately, it was going to take me about 17 more attempts to actually complete it. This area was by far the worst zone for me to try to make my way through. Not only was every other scout I've encountered up to this point in the mission fair game in this area, but also 2 new scouts could potentially spawn in here, specifically the infested shooter scout and the elite scout. But I think the worst part about going through this zone was just how blind I was going into it. We only got to the zone a couple of times while playing through with Dino and Lurker trying to complete it, and we didn't get to experience most of it as the run where we did beat it, the key card was located in the second room right at the entrance to it. So all I really knew was the first and second room. That was it. And to make things worse, I didn't know where a majority of these key cards could spawn at, nor did I even know where the terminal itself was. So I knew going in here, I would have to be very, very careful. My plan was to kill basically every single scout in each of the rooms before I progressed on to the next one, because even though I could shut doors behind me, I wanted to ensure that I would have enough room to fall back should I need to, because there were also a lot of scouts that could spawn in here. The density was fairly high. So very first run in here, unfortunately, ended in defeat, and it would take me quite a few more attempts to even make my way back here. But after quite a few attempts, I did manage to finally have a run where I was able to locate my key card. Can't see him. That's a problem, like right here, I can't see his head. There's his head. No, what? But, no! What do you mean? That was your head. It wasn't your head.
Oh my god, bro.
No! And my box was here! No! No! Oh my gosh, he caught up to me so quickly. Please. 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 My only hope is I have to run back, like pretty much all the way towards the beginning, somehow out-juke them all through the zones I went through, and then shut a boatload of doors behind me. That is a slight problem. I forgot about you guys. Like, that is my only hope, is I have to outrun them. Or out-juke them somehow. Problem is I can't do it here. There's no place to out-juke them here. Think, Scalar, think. You gotta think fast, and you gotta think real fast.
Hello?
They can climb up that. That's not fair. I'm gonna die. It doesn't matter. I'm dead. No! Are you kidding me? The key was there too. That was the run. The key was there, but oh! That shot, like, I guess, it hit the body and he flinched in a way where the rest of the burst didn't hit the head and he didn't die because of it. No! That run was heartbreaking. I made the tiniest mistake in the world, one that was very easily avoidable, and that cost me the run. And it sucks too, because as you saw, that key card was right there in the second room in the same spot that it was in when I actually got my completion with the other guys. And I was heartbroken. I was defeated after that run. I had already been going on for about 9 hours at this point, and I was getting exhausted. I had delayed multiple things that I was already planning to do in the day anyway, and I was risking not being able to do something I had to do the following day because of how late I was staying up. So at this point, I told myself that I will give it one last attempt. No matter what happens, I'm only gonna give this level one more go. Even if I was to die on the very first scout, I could not afford to waste any more time. And I told myself that if I did not complete it on this day, on this very last attempt, that I would either drop the challenge entirely and not bother coming back to it, as it would actually be a good week or so until I would have enough free time to even attempt something like this again, or I would have to delay it for about a week or so until I actually had the free time to come back, which at that point I would lose pretty much all of the muscle memory I had, and more than likely I would keep on flubbing in the first few zones, and I would have to just work my way back to getting to this point consistently. So with pretty much a broken spirit and assuming that this challenge was actually going to fail, and even questioning if I was even going to keep this footage and make a video out of it, I went in for one last attempt. Okay. I didn't charge up enough, or something. Oh, the good thing I came over here to kill you, because that's my box. Hey you, come here. Thank you. I like the two Veil Scouts being on top of each other like that, because that kind of makes me think I kill one and the other one's gonna wake up. Oh my god. Hey buddy. Bye buddy. Which is a baby scout, what am I doing?
I've got you in my sights.
Boom! Headshot!
This is so risky. Yeah, this is extremely risky. You're gone. The staircase assassin. Oh my god. That could have been so bad. Oh my god. Don't be stupid. Don't run around a corner into a veil potential. Get me out, out, get me out, get me out. Oh my god. Yes. I don't think these things auto woke up on extract. I don't think they did they? I don't think these things auto woke up. I think I can... Right? I don't think they auto woke up? I don't know. If they did, then I have to run back and just start shooting, but... I don't think these things auto woke up. I'm gonna back up just in case. Normal strikers? Okay.
Yes!
I think you're just normal. There's stuff on the other side of that door, though. I'm not gonna risk it. I'm not gonna try to kill any of you. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I finally did it! On the last run of the night where I straight up said no more attempts no matter what. This is... Oh my god. I'm screenshotting this. Yes. Oh, I did it! I did it, Lurker! I did it, Brandon! I did it, Dino! I did it, Zero! And I did it to anyone else who doubted me when I said doing it in tiny mode was potentially, maybe, possibly, I don't know, slightly, somewhat easier. I did it! Oh my god. I'm so happy. Oh my god. After all the bullcrap of hitting a metal beam above a scout head when I'm going for the swing, of touching a tendril through grating that I literally couldn't see, to just the dumbest, most random stuff ruining the runs and causing me to fail last second. It's finally over. I beat it. I actually managed to beat this. Hallelujah. Well, I don't know if I'm adding this on to the end of the actual 3-5 completion video, if I'm going to make this the 3-5 completion video itself and not show you the other one, or if this is going to be its own video, but wherever this is, please. I don't ask for likes all that often, and I don't, I don't like doing that type of stuff. I mean, I did before with the guides a lot, but hey, that's if you liked it. But in this case, just please like this video. Please show me that all of this trouble and toil was not pointless and that I didn't do it for no reason at all. Like, please, thank you. I love you guys so much. I greatly appreciate it. But I'm done. I'm calling it there. I'm gonna go and make myself some food and then make dinner for tomorrow night and then wake up with only like 3 hours of sleep because, oh my god, I'm up way too late. I should not have been up this late. Oh man, I'm gonna hate myself in the morning. But it was worth it!